TV soap news and spoilers say that in the opulent enclave of Beyond the Gates, nestled within the pristine streets of Fairmont Crest, secrets are the currency of power, and trust is a luxury few can afford. The summer sun cast golden hues over the manicured lawns and stately mansions. A storm of deception was brewing, one that threatened to upend the lives of the town's elite. At the heart of this maelstrom was Haley Thompson, a woman whose radiant smile and poised demeanor masked a labyrinth of ambition and betrayal. Today, our channel unveils a gripping tale of infidelity, conspiracy, and greed, as Haley and her secret lover weave a plot to seize control of Bill Carter's fortune while he lies vulnerable in a hospital bed. Join us as we unravel this scandalous saga, a story that could redefine the power dynamics of Beyond the Gates. Haley Thompson had long been the envy of Fairmont Crest. Her marriage to Bill Carter, a titan of industry whose wealth and influence shaped the town, was the stuff of fairy tales, or so it seemed. Their sprawling estate in Beyond the Gates, with its marble floors and crystal chandeliers, was a testament to their success. But beneath the polished surface, cracks had begun to form. Bill's recent stroke, a devastating blow that left him fighting for his life in Fairmont Crest Medical Center, had cast a shadow over their seemingly perfect union. As Bill lay in the ICU, his once commanding presence reduced to a fragile figure tethered to monitors, Haley played the role of the devoted wife, her tear-streaked face a picture of anguish for the cameras and neighbors alike. But Haley's tears were not what they seemed. While the residents of Beyond the Gates sent flowers and whispered prayers for Bill's recovery, Haley was orchestrating a far darker plan. Her heart, it turned out, belonged not to Bill but to another man, Marcus Reed, a charismatic and cunning financial advisor who had recently arrived in Fairmont Crest. Marcus, with his sharp suits and sharper mind, had caught Haley's eye months ago at a charity gala, where their shared glances ignited a spark that would soon blaze into a full-fledged affair. Their clandestine meetings, hidden in the shadows of Fairmont Crest's upscale bistros and secluded park benches, had grown increasingly bold, and increasingly dangerous. While Bill's condition remained critical, Haley slipped away from the hospital under the pretense of needing rest. Her true destination was a discreet coffee shop on the edge of town, a place far removed from the prying eyes of Beyond the Gates. The dimly lit interior, with its worn leather booths and the faint aroma of roasted coffee, provided the perfect cover for her rendezvous with Marcus. As she slid into the booth across from him, her eyes darted nervously to the door, ensuring no one from her world had followed. Marcus leaned forward, his voice low and urgent. "How's he doing?" he asked, his tone laced with feigned concern. Haley's lips curled into a faint, calculated smile. "Stable, but weak," she replied. "The doctors say it could go either way." Her words were cold, devoid of the warmth she displayed at Bill's bedside. Marcus's eyes gleamed with opportunity. "Then we need to move fast," he said, sliding a folder across the table. Inside were documents outlining Bill's vast fortune, real estate holdings, stock portfolios, offshore accounts, all meticulously catalogued by Marcus's expert hand. Their plan was as audacious as it was ruthless. Haley, they decided, would use her position as Bill's wife to gain access to his financial accounts, leveraging his weakened state to transfer assets into her name. Marcus, with his expertise in wealth management, would ensure the transactions were untraceable, funneling the money into shell companies they controlled. But there was a twist that made their scheme even more diabolical. Haley was pregnant, and the child she carried was not Bill's but Marcus's. The pregnancy, announced with fanfare to the residents of Beyond the Gates, was a carefully crafted lie to secure her place in Bill's will. If Bill were to die, Haley stood to inherit everything, provided she could convince the world the child was his. As they huddled in the coffee shop, Haley and Marcus mapped out their strategy with chilling precision. The first step was to reinforce the illusion of Haley's devotion. She would continue her vigil at Bill's bedside, playing the grieving wife to perfection. She would charm the hospital staff, bring fresh flowers daily, and ensure that every visitor saw her as the epitome of loyalty. Meanwhile, Marcus would work behind the scenes, quietly gathering signatures and approvals from Bill's weakened hand, exploiting his trust to shift control of key assets. The pregnancy was their ace in the hole. Haley had already convinced Bill of her condition, showing him a forged ultrasound image that she and Marcus had obtained through a discreet contact. Bill, despite his frail state, had been overjoyed, his eyes lighting up at the thought of a child. The news had also quelled the suspicions of Bill's ex-wife, Danny, who had initially accused Haley of faking the pregnancy for attention. Danny's doubts, fueled by her own bitterness and a history of chaos, had been a thorn in Haley's side, but the ultrasound had silenced her, for now. But the pregnancy was a double-edged sword. Haley knew that maintaining the lie would require meticulous planning. She and Marcus had already begun researching fake bellies and medical records to sustain the deception through the months ahead. If Bill survived, they would need to stage a tragic miscarriage, blaming it on the stress of his illness to garner sympathy and deflect scrutiny. If Bill died, the child, Marcus's child, would be presented as Bill's heir, securing Haley's claim to the fortune. The plan, however, was not without risks. Beyond the gates was a hotbed of gossip, and Haley's every move was watched by neighbors eager to uncover scandal. Danny, in particular, posed a threat. Her relentless skepticism and penchant for drama made her a wild card. As Haley left the hospital, Danny had been lurking nearby, her eyes narrowing as she watched Haley's car head not toward home but to the outskirts of town. Danny's suspicions, once dismissed as paranoia, were beginning to take root. She had confided in her friend Chelsea, warning that Haley was up to something, and that the pregnancy seemed too convenient. Chelsea, ever loyal to Danny, had promised to keep an eye on Haley, setting the stage for a potential confrontation. Another danger came from within Bill's circle. His longtime friend and business partner, Vernon Dupree, had grown suspicious of Haley's sudden interest in Bill's finances. Vernon, a shrewd man with a knack for sniffing out deceit, had noticed discrepancies in recent financial reports, small transfers that didn't add up. He had yet to confront Haley, but his quiet inquiries were closing in. Marcus, aware of Vernon's scrutiny, urged Haley to accelerate their timeline. "We can't let him dig too deep," he warned, his voice tense. "If he finds out about us, it's over." Haley's own conscience was another hurdle. Despite her ambition, moments of doubt crept in. Late at night, as she sat by Bill's bedside, watching his chest rise and fall, she felt a pang of guilt. Bill had been kind to her, even if their marriage lacked the passion she found with Marcus. The thought of betraying him so completely gnawed at her, but Marcus's reassurances, and the promise of a life of luxury, kept her on course. "This is our chance, Haley," Marcus had whispered during one of their stolen moments. "We're not just taking his money, we're taking our future." Haley and Marcus finalized their plan. They would move quickly, using Bill's hospitalization as a window of opportunity. Haley would request a meeting with Bill's lawyer, citing concerns about his estate in light of his health. She would present herself as the dutiful wife, ensuring that any changes to the will appeared legitimate. Marcus, meanwhile, would liquidate select assets, transferring them to accounts only they could access. The child, when born, would be the final piece of the puzzle, a living claim to Bill's legacy. But beyond the gates was never a place where secrets stayed buried. Unbeknownst to Haley and Marcus, another figure was watching their every move, Kat Harper, a woman with her own agenda and a knack for uncovering the truth. Kat, who had been investigating a separate scandal involving Leslie Thornton, had stumbled across a cryptic email between Marcus and an unknown contact, hinting at a scheme to defraud a prominent resident. Kat's curiosity was piqued, and she began tailing Marcus, her instincts telling her that he was the key to a larger conspiracy. Haley and Marcus parted ways at the coffee shop. Kat was parked across the street, her camera capturing their furtive exchange. She didn't yet know the full extent of their plan, but the pieces were falling into place. Kat's own vendetta against Leslie had sharpened her investigative skills, and she was determined to expose any wrongdoing in Beyond the Gates. If she connected the dots to Haley and Marcus, their carefully laid plans could unravel in an instant. Set the stage for a seismic shift in Fairmont Crest. Haley and Marcus's plot to seize Bill's fortune was a gamble that could either catapult them to unimaginable wealth or destroy them completely. As Bill lay in his hospital bed, unaware of the betrayal unfolding around him, the residents of Beyond the Gates watched with bated breath. Danny's suspicions, Vernon's inquiries, and Kat's investigation were converging, threatening to expose the truth before Haley and Marcus could execute their plan. In a town where power was both a prize and a curse, Haley's deception was a high-stakes game. The pregnancy, a lie woven to secure her future, was a ticking time bomb. If successful, she and Marcus would walk away with millions, free to live the life they dreamed of. But if their plot was uncovered, the fallout would be catastrophic. Not just for them, but for the fragile harmony of Beyond the Gates. Our channel invites you to dive deeper into this scandalous saga. Watch our exclusive video for a closer look at Haley's secret affair, Marcus's cunning, and the web of deceit threatening to engulf Fairmont Crest. In Beyond the Gates, every lie has a price, and Haley's may cost her everything. We hope you enjoyed it and look forward to sharing more with you in the future. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. TV soap news and spoilers for more updates on Beyond the Gates.